Young Greg Sowell surveyed the busy intersection. The 5-year-old boy crossed the brick street in downtown Nacogdoches, his hand held firmly by his mother and his eyes focused on the uniformed officer directing traffic. As the boy passed by the police officer, he tugged at the sleeve of the uniform that fascinated him. "Hey, mister," Greg's tiny voice pleaded, "can I have a job?" Greg Sowell says he doesn't remember that happening, but his parents told his story many times. Young Greg did know early what he wanted to do with his life. By 1975, he was a police explorer scout, spending hours at the police station and, in his words, seeing a few things he was probably too young to have seen. Graduating from Nacogdoches High School in 1979, he was hired as a police dispatcher in 1980 and became the youngest patrolman in NPD history at age 20 years, 3 months. He says he bugged the chief every day until he finally gave him the chance. After graduating from the East Texas Police Academy in 1981, he became the department's youngest detective in 1985 and remained in that position for 9 years when he helped to form the new Nacogdoches Independent School District Police Department under the direction of Doug Plow. In 2002, he returned to NPD as Community Services and Public Information Officer. Altogether, he's worked under 7 police chiefs over a 32-year career. Former Nacogdoches County Attorney Brian Holt Davis noted that Greg dates back to the old-fashioned days of the police department, where things were done differently, but effectively. Davis says Greg was always kind to people, not abusive or harsh. Chief Jim Seavey notes that every Monday morning, officers start the week with a staff meeting to review the prior weekend and the coming week's activities. Seavey says that Greg is usually the center of attention as he discusses the weekend's adventures, which typically involve cooking and other family activities. Greg takes any merciless ribbing in stride. Only on a few occasions has he had to leave the room in frustration. Even though he's worked many crime scenes and tracked murder suspects, it was a force of nature that gave Sowell second thoughts about his police abilities. Hurricane Rita was something he had never seen before, Greg recalls. He says it was the only time he felt uncomfortable. He was concerned there were people who needed help and law enforcement wouldn't be able to get to them. Being at the center of the action still motivates the veteran police officer. Assistant Chief Mike Kelly says Greg is always there when you need him. He shows up ready to do whatever is needed. Kelly says Greg actually gets a little upset if you don't call him when something is going on. Greg's determination to help others also appears in the non-law enforcement areas of his life. As a board member and now president of the Nacogdoches Senior Center, Sowell has shown his heart and compassion. The center is located in the neighborhood that Greg grew up in, and he says he really does believe in respect for the elderly. Working with Director Tammy Blank and her staff, Sowell learned that one of the biggest challenges was meeting state requirements with a limited budget. He noted that there are a lot of unfunded mandates, and the center had tightened its belt, but it wasn't enough. Sowell and Blank called the state and conferred with agencies to try to modify the rules and regulations. The pair proposed a modified schedule for delivering meals that could provide the same quality of service while keeping the center's food and transportation costs in line. In 2010, Greg enlisted the help of Representative Christian, Senator Nichols, the city, and the county in a joint effort. They received permission to modify the service, and it kept the doors open. He says there's more work ahead. The greatest generation uses the facility now. The boomers, says Sowell, are figuratively in the parking lot looking at the door, and they have different needs and wants. With his leadership, the center received a grant to put in an exercise room and walking track with help from Healthy Nacogdoches Coalition, Dr. Donnella Rust, Assistant Chief Mike Kelly, and DETCOG. Sowell says in-kind labor to build the track and SFA students volunteering as trainers will provide a well-rounded wellness and fitness program for the center. With a career that began with the enthusiasm of youth and is now centered on helping the elderly, Sergeant Greg Sowell has shown how a public servant can both respond and take the lead in making a difference. Chief Seavey says that if he and Greg didn't work together, he would still want him for a friend. He calls the hard-working police officer a Nacogdoches fixture and a fine representative of what is Nacogdoches' best product, its people. The Nacogdoches County Chamber of Commerce is proud to name Sergeant Greg Sowell as its 2012 Citizen of the Year.
Thank you very much for that well-recognized honor of Greg Sowell. Joining with him on the stage tonight was Mike Mazarakis, who is the General Manager representing award sponsor Tipton Ford. Greg?
Thank you. This is a great honor for me. I'm both humbled and very grateful. Only in my wildest dreams would I have imagined being honored with this prestigious award. First of all, I want to thank God for his many blessings upon me and my family that he's bestowed upon us over my lifetime. I've truly led a blessed life and looking forward to a long time. I have a number of folks to be grateful to tonight and to thank. First off, I want to thank the Chamber and the Board of Directors that voted me to receive this honor. Bruce Partain and the staff of the Chamber for making this dream happen for me. I grew up on the southwest side of Nacogdoches. I was born to parents that were somewhat older than usual. My mother was 43 and my dad was 47, and I was their only child. Being raised by parents that were tempered by the Great Depression and World War II, I had some values and some ideas instilled in my head that sometimes were a generation behind the times. Perhaps the greatest asset that my parents left me was my upbringing. And I'm truly thankful to God for them and for their guidance. Family is most important to me, and they're here with me tonight. Pam, my wife of almost 27 years, she knows everything there is to know, good and bad, and I appreciate you not sharing the bad times. Pam stood beside me through it all, be it good or bad. I love you very much, and I really appreciate you being there, and I thank you for everything you do every day. My son, Justin, daughter-in-law, Jessica, my son, Luke. I know it's not easy being the kids of a policeman or a guy that was raised with a set of values sometimes that I was raised, because I have a little different idea on the way things should be. But I want you to know that you all make me very proud every day, no matter what you do. To every chief I've ever served with, Don Barlow, John Walton, Doug Plow, Bill Lujan, Mike Kelly, and currently Jim Seavey, I thank them all for allowing me to do a job that I truly love. And by the way, a man couldn't ask for a better boss than Jim Seavey. I appreciate you, Chief. Nacogdoches is truly lucky to have this man leading the police force. To my friends, past, present, and future, and you know who you are, I'm truly grateful for your friendship and for your support over the years. During my time growing up with older parents while other kids were reading comic books, I was learning to read by reading the afternoon edition at that time of the Daily Sentinel. I was reading the activities of people like M.C. Roebuck, Delbert Teitz, J.T. Alders, R.G. Muckleroy, Charles Bright, A.L. Mangum, and many, many others. They're all community leaders, and they all became heroes and role models to me through print at a very early age. They were public servants. As I look back, some of these folks have received this award I'm receiving tonight, but as I look at the list of the prior recipients, and to think that I would be selected to join the ranks of these people is almost unreal. Finally, I extend my sincere appreciation to you, the fine people of Nacogdoches. You are what makes Nacogdoches what it is. You give it a life, a soul, an atmosphere, and a feel that cannot be found anywhere else. And I truly thank you for making the dream of a kid from West Seal Street come true. Thank you very much.